Hello.
Hello, guys.
We're back for Westworld episode 4.
Yes.
Titled Dissonance Theory. As we look at it on our TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this started once again with Dolores and Bernard talking to each other about what was I have notes on their specific things. What was the overall topic of their discussion?
Well,
Dolores was talking about there's something. Oh, he was saying he could change her back to.
she came in still like, oh my gosh, my parents just died. Oh my gosh, I thought so she was talking about how upset she was.
Right.
About everything that had happened at the farm or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said, I can make that pain go away. And then she was like, why would I? Mm-hmm. Why would I want that?
Yeah. So she said she adapted some of what she said from a script that they gave her, which is interesting.
A script about love.
Yeah.
Adapted it to a script about loss.
Yeah.
Which I think to him really stuck out because of his son. Because that's what he wants to do. He wished,
right.
But I mean, that kind of mirrored what he told his wife.
Yeah.
When she was like, sometimes I don't know if these conversations about our son help or hurt.
Right.
And he said it's the only thing I have left.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And.
Fascinating.
So one thing I noticed is Dolores said, "There's something wrong with this world." Or maybe with me.
Sorry.
And that's a stark contrast to her scripted line, which is to say some people choose to see the ugliness in this world, but I choose to see the beauty. So
maybe
the way she's developing
adapting
is strongly in contrast to it's almost opposite.
Yeah.
That's
a good point.
So, and then she wakes up and it appears to have been her remembering and not exactly in sequence. Unless Bernard pulled her out of the campsite.
Well,
and
everyone
then put
was
her
asleep.
Back in the morning, which seems highly unlikely, especially considering the fact that they later thought she might be lost.
I feel like
I think she's remembering a previous conversation.
Probably more likely.
Yeah. So that was interesting. And yeah, it makes us wonder about when these Bernard conversations are happening and some of the timeline stuff.
I think we're pretty clear now on the fact that it's all one timeline.
Yeah.
The Man in Black and Billy are there at the same time.
Yeah, they're different people.
They're different people.
In fact, what we looked at for that on our second viewing is when the Man in Black requests, he does when he escapes with the explosives.
From the jail.
Right. It shows them saying requesting for explosion, and the guy who approves his request looks just like the guy who's there clearly in the present timeline that we can connect.
Yeah, the guy that works for the park.
Yeah. So we
whose name I don't know.
Yeah, Meathead.
Unless for some reason he's.
It'd be really it's highly unlikely that. So we think it's all same timeline.
But we have figured out more about the Man in Black.
We did.
He's famous.
He is famous.
Not just in Westworld.
Yeah. He has a foundation.
A foundation that does good things.
Yeah, which is saved that guy's sister's life, which is interesting considering the worldview that he shares with Hector of everything ending badly. So, still a lot more to learn there. We went to the second scene is with Maeve, the red prostitute. Her
Maeve.
Remembering events, getting this sense of deja vu before Hector comes into the
saloon.
Yeah, saloon. So,
yeah, and remembering the masks, the mask, drawing that out, and
remembering
finding that she has had this memory several times before.
Right.
So we don't know how long that's been happening. Did that start with?
And now that I'm thinking about it, so Maeve's whole thing in this storyline, in this episode, in the present day, takes a minute. She has this memory, of right before Hector walks in. Hector walks in. She grabs him, takes him upstairs, asks him these questions, it cuts into him, or she cuts into herself, and like the rest of it, conceivably, is her memories of memories of memories, which is interesting and leads to a sense of like the loss of control by the park of the hosts and like them developing consciousness.
And I think it'll be interesting to know what the park staff will do with her.
Yes.
Because she's just cut into herself and pulled out a bullet that they staff still knew was there.
Yeah.
But just hadn't taken out yet. And when they find her to like repair her, they're gonna see this person just cut into her. I mean, I don't know if they'll connect that or if they'll think it was just.
But she did also at the end of the episode get just like perforated.
True.
So.
True.
So should we talk about Ford or should we talk about Maze Girl?
Let's talk about Ford first.
Okay, because that cuts it. Ford does this whole display of like
power.
Yeah, power, and calls himself a god in this place. And he does demonstrate that, like a lot of don't forget how much control we have over these hosts, which kind of stands in stark contrast to
and over you, and over like staff.
Yeah,
kind of threatening.
But the rest of the episode, the rest of the events suggest that they lack quite a bit of control. I mean, unless Ford just knows a whole lot and doesn't say anything, doesn't help Bernard and what's-her-face at all.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem like it. He doesn't seem like he knows all this stuff because he seems philosophically opposed to the development of consciousness. Which brings up things like, how did they seem to have spotty surveillance. They talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe they don't notice Maeve finding these things over and over again. It's just hard to tell how much information is getting back to Ford and the command and control of the park.
It is. It's confusing.
Or maybe he's deliberately hiding stuff.
I mean, I don't know, this whole new
storyline. Yeah.
He makes the comment that he's like not nostalgic. It's not anything from the past. I guess the idea was that he's tearing that place down.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's giant, and I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Maze Girl. Are you done with Ford?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll circle back in big topics, but yes, Maze Girl. Dolores remembering apparently an earlier conversation. She's discovered the maze.
I don't get that part at all.
Yeah, it's totally not clear to me.
It almost seems like... Dolores has several flashbacks. There's a church, there's a graveyard.
And there's the conversation with Bernard itself.
Yeah, but I mean, in that moment when we see Maze Girl...
Yeah.
She has all those flashbacks, like, right then. And it's weird because Maze Girl says, "We're from the same place, don't you remember?" And that's I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either, especially because up until
when
this
would
point,
she have been there?
Up until this point, it felt like her conversation with her father, Abernathy, and getting these violent delights have violent ends, is the precipitating event of this series.
Same with Maeve. Maeve hearing that. But
right.
Now we see Maeve's flashbacks, and we see Dolores' flashbacks. So did that even start?
Right, but...
the consciousness or whatever.
Or maybe they've gotten it multiple times. I don't know, but it would be one thing for them to remember previous events, but they're remembering.
Yes, they are now remembering previous events and previous storylines.
Yeah. And her thing with, so I don't know. That's how far back this goes. So, the Man in Black, he talks a lot about setting the hosts free this episode. And he says that Lawrence says, one day I'm going to kill you. And he says, maybe so. Or something to that effect. Even though he's clearly displayed that he is fully aware that they cannot hurt him.
Well, he did say, so when he found the snake lady, he references Arnold,
Mm-hmm.
and Arnold created a world where you could not die.
Yeah.
But Arnold broke his own rule and died.
Yeah.
And I think that the maze is something to do with dying.
Yeah, so I think we've got...
So I think maybe he thinks I don't know.
Right.
I feel like he has a lot of psychological pain. Very deep. He wants to end it.
I'm sure. It's usually a good precipitating event for stories and TV shows.
And social work.
Yeah. So I feel like we got three big things that we're... maybe I'll discover four as I'm talking. We've got Wyatt and the new storyline. Right. We've got the maze, and...
which are connected.
We think...
Wyatt is connected to the maze because Snake Girl mentioned Wyatt, and now Man in Black is trying to find Wyatt.
But it...
So Wyatt has to be connected to the maze.
But are the... Okay, so we got the maze, we got Wyatt, we've got the Violent Delights discovering of consciousness. Yeah, I think those are really the three big things. And obviously they're all connected in some way, but it's not clear if Arnold's maze... If Arnold made them... Do we know Arnold made the maze? The Man in Black seems to refer to that.
I think the Man in Black thinks so.
Yeah. And...
So, yes.
And you're right, yes, the Snake Girl connects the two of them because when he was looking for the maze, it led him to her, and she is connected to Wyatt. That seemed to be what she had to give. So they seem connected, but are they... The maze is very old, it would seem, especially if Arnold made it, and the storyline with Wyatt is very new. So is Ford deliberately connecting back to Arnold? He seems to be opposed to what Arnold was standing for. So it's not clear why he would do so.
I mean, Wyatt is new. I think that the Snake Girl was relatively new.
Yeah. So we determined that her tattoo is new, but she was present in an earlier story.
But we know that backstories are constantly being created.
Yeah.
Like, Wyatt is a backstory.
Uh-huh.
So it seems like the backstories that are being created are connecting somehow to the maze.
Yeah, it seems like almost...
Even though the maze maybe has been there.
Like
but now it's...
Like the maze, like what Ford is going for is some sort of overall meta-commentary storyline on the park itself. That is...
That's a good observation.
Like the end... It is... Whatever the storyline is won't just be an interesting new story in the park. It has some big play on the overall real-world story.
Yeah.
It's not just a plot device. It matters in some way. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all we've got.
Yeah, we're about to eat Chipotle and watch the next episode.
Yep, so.
High five.
Yep, comment, like, share, whatever you're supposed to do with YouTube videos these days.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Thanks.
Tweet?
Don't tweet us. I mean, you can, but...
Instagram? Is there a verb for that?
You don't Instagram YouTube videos, babe. Do you? I don't think you do.
I'm not hip anymore.
I think you are. Okay. Bye, guys.